Today's pattern is going to help us get organized. We're going to crochet this lovely basket. It's a simple beginner-friendly design. We're going to learn how to size it and how to change colors so they sit the way we want. Hi there, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, welcome. I'm Laisha from With Love Laisha. I'm a self-taught crochet artist and designer, and I make tutorials for beginners that help you learn virtually faster and easier. We do that with short projects, helpful tips, simple steps, and clear visuals. So if that's your jam, hit that subscribe button below, and if you enjoy this tutorial, give it a thumbs up. Now let's jump in. So you need a nice chunky yarn for this project so your basket is sturdy. But let's say you want to use something that's lighter. You can still use it by double stranding. So you're going to grab your skein or your cake and you're going to pull from the inside as well as the outside, hold them together, make them the same length, then lay them over your hook and crochet like normal. So based on how thin your yarn is, you can double or triple strand and get the chunkiness and sturdiness you're looking for. One thing to keep in mind is you may need to size up on the hook because you need a hook that will accommodate the new thickness of the yarn that you're using. You can find the yarn weight and hook size that's recommended at the back of the yarn packaging. The first thing we need to do to make our basket is to make our base. So to start our base, we're going to make a magic circle or a magic ring. So hold your yarn like this, take your tail and bring it underneath the longer piece of yarn. And I'm just going to take my thumb, put it through the center of that loop, and bring this longer piece of yarn up through that center. Then I'm going to take my hook, put it into that loop I brought up, yarn over, and pull through. And then I'm going to tighten that up. So I'm basically creating sort of a knot to secure this circle. But you don't want this knot to be so tight that you can't pull this tail and close that center. So that's why this is called a magic ring, because when we're ready, we're going to pull the tail and we're going to close up the center of that circle. So now we're going to place a chain 2, and this is going to be our first stitch of the round. So yarn over and pull through the loop, yarn over and pull through the loop. Now we're going to place double crochets all the way around this ring. So we're going to place 12 double crochets. This is going to count as our first double crochet or our first stitch of the round. And we're going to place 11 more double crochets or 11 more stitches. And we will have a total of 12 stitches in the round all together. So to do a double crochet, we're going to yarn over, go into the center of that circle, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over, and pull through the next 2 loops. That is a double crochet. And so now we have 2 stitches in our round. We need 10 more. Yarn over, go into the center of that circle, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through your first 2 loops, yarn over, and pull through your next 2 loops. So I finished off my first round and I do have 12 stitches, so we're going to count these posts to make sure. This is our chain 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And now we're going to close off our round with a slip stitch. So insert your hook after you have finished your last double crochet, your 12th double crochet. You're going to insert your hook into the top of that first real double crochet that you placed. and you're going to get that V over your hook, pull up a loop and pull that loop straight through the next loop on your hook. And that closes off your round. Now this was a slip stitch, and this slip stitch, it's going to count as an actual stitch, meaning the tops of these posts have V's. Each V is also a stitch. So just like this post is 1, this V is 1. This second post is 2. This is also 2. So this is another way of counting your stitches. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And now 11 was the top of this last stitch we placed. But our chain 2 also needs a top, right? And that slip stitch is going to be the top of our chain 2. So this is our chain 2, and this is the V above it. So I hope that makes sense. Let's go ahead and start round 2. So yarn over, pull through the loop, yarn over, pull through the loop. That's a chain 2, that's our first stitch of the round. Now we're going to place 2 double crochets in each stitch all the way around. And this is an increase. So this is how we're going to make the base of our basket come out. We're going to build the base doing this. Increase. So yarn over, insert into the top of that first real double crochet. Get that V over your hook. Yarn over, pull up a loop. Yarn over and pull through. Yarn over and pull through. We're going to do that again. Yarn over, go into the top of that same stitch. Pull up a loop. Yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops. Yarn over and pull through the next 2 loops. Now we're going to move to the next stitch. We're going to place another 2 double crochets. That's 1. I'm going to go back in. That's 2. In this V, I'm going to place, because this is an actual double crochet, that's the V, I'm going to place 2 double crochets into it. And now when I get to my chain 2 and my slip stitch, this chain 2 counts as 1 stitch, so we only need to place 1 stitch into this very last V underneath the chain 2. And that will give us our 24 stitches. So let's just go ahead and count real quick. So this is our chain 2. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. So we're good to go. Now let's go ahead and pull this tail. We should have actually done that when we finished our first round, but sometimes it's easier to do it later. So I'm just giving that tail a good yank, and as you can see, it's closing off the center of my circle. You can do this at any time that you're comfortable doing, closing it off. Okay, let's close off our round. So once again, we're gonna place our slip stitch to close off the round, and we're gonna do that into the top of that very first double crochet. So you're gonna insert into the top and get that V over your hook, pull up a loop and pull through. Don't tighten that slip stitch too much, that loop, because that is going to be an actual stitch. Now, if your work is curling up on you a little bit, you can stretch it out. Crochet does need to be stretched out a little bit. When you first place the stitches, they can be quite tight depending on how loose or tight you crochet. So if you're noticing that your work is curling up on you quite a bit, you might need to loosen up your stitches a little bit if your count is all correct. Okay, let's go ahead and start on round 3. And we're going to start with a chain 2 as we always do. And now we're going to place our first stitch into the top of that first real double crochet. So it's going to be the V right under this chain 2 or the top of this post. And we're going to place 2 double crochets into that very first stitch. So yarn over, insert, go ahead and complete your double crochet as normal, and do that again. Go back into that same stitch. Now in the next stitch, we're going to place 1 double crochet. In the next one, we're going to place 2 double crochets. So for this round, we are alternating between placing 2 double crochets in 1 stitch, then 1 double crochet, then 2 double crochets, then 1 double crochet. So just follow that pattern. You're going to start with 2 double crochets in the same stitch. You should have 36 stitches at the end of this round. So we're going to place 2 stitches. So you're going to end on 2 stitches in the same stitch. And this chain 2, we're going to leave it alone because that's going to complete our pattern and it's going to be the 1 standalone stitch. So we place 2 here, we have 1. We place 2 here, and that chain 2 is going to be 1. So you can use anything. You can use a safety pin, actual stitch markers, a piece of yarn, whatever you like. I just suggest that you place something to tell yourself that this is my first stitch. This is where I'm starting my count. Okay, so we're going to place our slip stitch. Now in this round, we're going to start with 2 stitches into that very first V. So into the top of that first actual double crochet. Another one. Now in the next 2 stitches, we're going to place just 1 double crochet. So I'm going to put just 1 in here. And I'm going to go to the next one. I'm going to just do 1. In the next one, we're going to do 2 in the same stitch. Okay, so let me show you the pattern. So our pattern is 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1. Make sense? So just remember that. This second to last stitch. So this is our chain 2. This is where it's sitting. this is going to be our last stitch. This is our second to last stitch. I'm going to place 2 stitches in there, and you're going to end on a 1-1. So my last stitch is right here. That's going to be 1. And our chain 2 is 1. Counts as a stitch. So our pattern is complete. So we have 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1. And just make sure that you do have 48 stitches all the way around. And we're going to close off the round with a slip stitch, and that slip stitch does count as a stitch. Once you're happy with the size of the base of your basket, you can stop adding rounds of increase and start building the sides. So I'm going to do one more round of increase and grow my base a little bit more with you, but you can jump ahead and skip to adding the sides. So now we're ready to start round 5, and we are going to place a chain 2. And this is our very first stitch. So the chain 2 does count as a stitch. And now we're going to place 2 double crochets into this V right next to the chain 2. And this is how we are doing the increase. We are placing 2 stitches in the same stitch. That allows us to add more stitches per round. So I went right back into that same stitch, and I'm placing another double crochet in there. Now for the next 3 stitches, we're going to have just 1 double crochet in them. So the round previous, we did 2 double crochets in the same stitch, and then we had 1, 1. This time we're going to have 2 double crochets in the same stitch, and we're going to do 1, 1, 1. So I'm going into the next stitch there. That's 1. And I'm placing the next one. And the next one. So this is 2 double crochets, and this is double crochet 3. Now I'm going to go back, and this next stitch we're going to do 2 double crochets. So one more back in that same stitch. And now we're going to place 1 double crochet in the next 3 stitches. So 1, 1, 1. I'm right here, just about finished with my round 5, and you're going to end on a 1, 1, 1. So this is my last set of 2 double crochets. Now I'm going to place a 1, 1, and the chain 2 is going to be our last one. Now we're ready to slip stitch. So with round 6, we're going to start building the sides of our basket, and we're going to just place 1 single double crochet in all the stitches going all the way around. We're not increasing anymore. And I do have 60 stitches. You may have a different stitch count depending on when you stopped increasing and what size you're making your basket. If you want to make your base bigger, you can continue increasing. In that case, you would add 1 more standalone double crochet in each round. So if you want to increase for round 6, then you will put 4 single double crochets between your 2 double crochets in the same stitch. So this is the inside bottom of our basket, and this is the front of our double crochets. So if you're looking into an empty basket, this is what you're going to see. And now we're going to chain 2. And before we start crocheting round 6, I'm going to turn my work. So I'm just flipping my piece over to the back. Now from here, we're going to place 1 single double crochet in every stitch going all the way around. And you should still have the same number of stitches at the end of these next few rounds that you had at the end of round 5. So I have 60 stitches at the end of round 5, and I should have 60 stitches at the end of every round going forward. So make sure you do count your stitches. So I'm just placing 1 single double crochet in every stitch. So I'm just finishing off round 6, and I wanted to show you where your stitches are placed just in case you're having some trouble with that. So this is my chain 2 right here, and my very first stitch went into that V, or that space right next to the chain 2. And coming back around, my last stitch is going to go right here. So this is my chain 2, looking at the top, this is my V. This is where I'm gonna place my last stitch, because in this V, the chain 2 is already sitting in there. And you can count your stitches to make sure you've got everything placed correctly. Now I'm going to close off with a slip stitch. Before I start round 7, this is what it's looking like. It should be curling up at this point because we are building the sides. I'm going to chain 2, and I'm going to continue placing 1 single double crochet going all the way around. I'm going to yarn over, and my first stitch is going to go right here, right next to that V, underneath the chain 2. So go ahead and grab your second color, and we're going to use this to close off round 7 because we need to change colors at this point. So we're going to go into the top of our first actual double crochet, just like we always do to close off the round with a slip stitch. So just go ahead and pretend you're placing a slip stitch like normal. And now I'm going to place this new color on my hook. I have my tail facing away from me, and I'm gonna hold it snug on my hook, and I'm just gonna pull through, and I'm gonna slip stitch with the new color and pull on that tail so that you have a decent tail and your stitch doesn't come undone. And now I'm going to chain 1. Now I like to use this as the knot and actually chain 2 from this point. I find that when I try to use the chain 2 directly without placing that knot there, it kind of pulls up and looks weird. So this is the way that I like to do it. I'm just gonna place one single double crochet, super simple pattern from the point that we start building our sides actually. So I went in like normal into that very first V next to the chain 2, and I'm just placing a double crochet. And you're just gonna do that all the way around. The semi-tricky part was just changing colors right there at that slip stitch. This is where my last stitch is going. I'm just gonna go right in there. Always make sure you do have your correct count of stitches. And to close off the round, I'm just gonna slip stitch like normal. Now, I worked a couple rounds of my first color to start off the side of my basket, and I did 3 rounds in my second color. My basket isn't very tall, so you can go ahead and work 3 rounds total, so this plus 2 more rounds in your second color, or you can do more rounds. At this point, it doesn't really matter. The pattern isn't going to change. So go ahead and make as many more rounds as you would like, and I will show you how to go back to the first color when I have finished my 3 rounds. So go ahead and finish up and meet me back. So I'm going to insert into the top of the first reel double crochet, just like we did before to change colors. I'm going to drop this yarn. I'm going to grab my new yarn, add it onto my hook, hold it snug and pull through both loops. And I like to give myself a nice long tail. And I'm going to create a knot by pulling on the back strand of this loop. And now we can chain 2. And now we can cut off the first yarn so it's not in our way. Now you can go ahead and crochet around. Your stitch count doesn't change. We're going to do the same thing we have been. So I'm about to place my last stitch of my last round. And it goes into that V right next to the chain 2, but not into the space that the chain 2 is in. That's its home. And we're just gonna finish off. We're gonna insert, as we have been, into the top of the first reel double crochet. To pull through and create our slip stitch. So I'm happy with how that's standing. I'm going to cut right here on the outside of that loop, and I'm just going to pull it free. And then you can adjust where that knot is sitting to hide it. Make it look more like the other loops. This is where we changed color and we did our slip stitch. So I can actually pull this tail out. I'm not going to, but I could. We want to secure that loop so that it looks just like all the others. So we want to tighten that tail before we sew it in. So go ahead and tighten it so that you're filling in that gap. And then you can sew it in. And that will be nice and secure. That's not going to open up. So we're going to do the same thing, come through a few strands, and then I'm going to use one as an anchor, and I'm going to turn around and go back. And that's it. That should keep it nice and hidden in there. You won't be able to see it from the outside. So you can go ahead and do that for all your tails. And for the slip stitch ones, just pull it tight and then sew the tail in, and you should be good to go. That's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed crocheting this basket. If you have any questions or concerns, leave them in the comments section. I'll be sure to get back to you. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed already, hit that subscribe button below so you don't miss my next video. And if you enjoyed this tutorial, do give it a thumbs up. Until next time, keep crocheting with love and patience.